Hey, good morning. I am live from Atlantic City. I'm going to see if I could show you some views, some views. I went to sleep last night fully dressed with my makeup on. I was too burnt out to talk coherently. I smoked a lot of weed on the boardwalk. I ran into one of my current favorite people here in town. No, this is not another person in the homeless community. This is someone who does drink real hard, but is a person who's a grown up and has lived a lot of life. Okay, I'm looking behind me to make sure I don't get anybody on the frame here. Okay, good. Yeah. Because I don't have eyes in the back of my head. I heard that's something that privilege reserved only to women who have given birth. Like my mother always said that she had eyes in her behind her head. And you hear some crazy stuff, and we will try to ignore that. I actually wanted to. I'm going to go back in my home studio because I'm going to actually do a live wake and bake. Because I didn't bring anything with me except my broken original clapboard. Uh, I don't know how far the Wi-Fi extends. I don't know if it blankets the whole corner or what. I'm just really not sure. And but this is a rare time when there's not a bunch of people hanging out, and so I don't have to violate anybody's privacy or invite unwanted attention. Even though if I had some friends show up and they wanted to be on camera, that could be fun, and that would always be welcome as long as they don't get rude and interrupt, as happens sometimes. There's a couple of people in my life who do have a habit of interrupting me when I'm on camera. But I'm guessing that one of them is either probably his father's putting him to work doing something, or his father took him to an AA meeting, and the other one is probably still asleep from the drinking the night before. And like I would never interrupt the Action News van or some reporter doing something. People are doing something, they're talking to a screen or a camera. Leave them the hell alone. It's just basic politeness. But anyway, I was really burnt out last night because after there's a point in time where you're, I was playing and then it started to rain, and I kept on scanning the sky to make sure that there wasn't any kind of lightning or anything. And it's really hard to tell from a lot of the boardwalk whether there's lightning because you have so many screens that are flashing video advertisement for different things, and you got light shows sometimes, and you got casinos with fancy light things going on. And so that flashing will make you think that maybe there's lightning in the sky, and you just can't tell, honestly. So, I wonder where all the Wi-Fi extends. You guys curious here? Like, look at me. Don't worry about you see around you because I just want to see. See, can we get a signal here? Wow, this is groovy. One of the things I wanted to mention. A lot of times, I am in the habit of. I'm wired to try to be awake shortly after the sun comes up and it starts to get light so that I could start to walk around and I could look for roaches. Because if you're on a budget and you love weed, you want to find it for free, right? And there was like no roaches on the boardwalk last night. And also, once it rains, you really don't want to pick up anything that had a tobacco wrapper because a lot of times it infuses the weed with that nasty cigar taste. Oh, it's terrible. And some leaf that people wrap blunts in are more strongly tobacco flavored than others, I've noticed. When you make a difference in uh, some of the things that people use to wrap their weed, I don't understand why people don't just use something that's like hemp or rolling paper or whatever. Maybe they can't find large enough rolling papers or something, or maybe they're not sturdy enough. But still, for people who don't smoke tobacco, it really it takes away from the experience of the weed. And because you're drawing really deeply the way we do with weed, you don't normally smoke tobacco like that. So you're damaging your lungs more, it's just a less pleasant experience, and the weed does not taste as good. Different kinds of fresh, it's kind of it's like people who are into wine like to, the take the nuances of flavor, and they sniff it, and they roll it around in their tongue, and of course, I'm doing real legitimate wine taste. I'm supposed to spit it out, you're not supposed to swallow it and get drunk, but I quit drinking in 2004, so I don't have a gun this time, you know, and I'm far enough away from alcohol drinking that I can be around people who are drinking, and I can watch them drink, and half of the time they're so drunk that they offer me anyway, even though everybody knows I'm sober now, but it doesn't trigger me, it doesn't tempt me, you know, but yeah, I was out last night, and that awful music in the background from the stage. I mean, no offense to the fans of the music, and I don't even want to say too much of what it was, but it just was not my cup of tea. And I could very faintly hear it if I strained to hear, but my singing and playing drowned it out. And I was close enough to it that I knew that some of my friends had to be in that area because as I was setting up, I got greetings and hugs from a few of them, and one of my buddies, Big John, shout out to Big John. He has a bicycle and he's bigger than me, but then I'm a girl and I'm short, so everybody's bigger than me. But he had some weed and it was really good. Oh man, it smelled good. Two hits and I was legitimately high. And I find it hard to get high on the street. For some reason, the same high that I don't feel too much if I were to bowl it up and smoke it on the beach, I go back home and go in my room and I feel it. I don't know what it is. And sometimes I think I feel higher when I'm by myself than when I'm with other people, but not always. And maybe it's because my tolerance has got so much higher, because I remember sometimes I would get so high I would feel uncomfortable or I would feel a little insecure, feel like everybody was looking at the strange outfit that I was wearing. But I wore it anyway. I didn't allow my insecurities about, "Is my skirt too short?" or blah, blah, blah. Because this is, when I was still living in town, this is before I to California, and I got exposed to places where we're safe and you could just wear whatever and express yourself, and a lot of people would dig it. I hadn't really experienced that yet, so the marijuana was sometimes not always fun, but I did stop smoking. I guess I broke through, and now when I hear about people who say they don't like to smoke because they get paranoid and stuff, um, marijuana usually doesn't even affect me that strongly. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't have any problems driving under the influence of weed. Maybe I might want to wait maybe an hour, but I would be absolutely fine. You've been smoking decades like I have. It doesn't kick your ass like that. I probably should be taking some tolerance breaks so that I could feel it more to be able to know that if I found some roaches that are really great, they were left by the dealers that have the really good weed, and even though they're in blunts, you unroll them, and you can literally get high all day off of that one roach, because it's good stuff. And plus, it's the stuff that they're smoking for themselves, so I'm sure that it's not adulterated with something dangerous. You know, I'm keeping my head down so people don't try and engage with conversations because some of the people I see around me, they're not like the buddies that I hang with on the boardwalk. And I don't want people getting up in my business. And most people, by the way, have no idea that I'm a YouTuber. I don't want people to know anything like that about me because it's really not their business. I don't want people to be like monitoring me and hearing my thoughts on things and knowing like where I play guitar and stuff. I got to think about my safety. Oh, I know another reason why it's sometimes hard to find roaches in the morning. These guys they're hired by the city. They have these uh vacuum cleaners and they're called billy goats. And they do a job of sucking up whatever debris in the gutters and stuff. And that's one of the first places I check for roaches around here, you know. But there's more and more people that have been roach hunting. And a couple of times I tried to say, yo, I live here. I would think first dibs should go to the person whose turf it is. If anybody should understand turf, it should be people in the inner city, especially people who might have friends in gangs and stuff. And I know not every group of people hanging around they have certain similarities, is in a gang. That was kind of an erroneous assumption on my part. You know, the longer you live in a place, the more you realize that you had a lot of false assumptions about things. But yeah. All right. Oh, and by the way, cousin just got up and the sun's on. So I better get inside. It looks like somebody wants to start talking to me. I don't really want to even do that because it wasn't a friend. My hands are full, and when your hands are full, you can't open the door to get in. It's a problem. I can't scream for my mother to. So it's better to keep. Plus, the cats are not. Oh, I think I'm going to keep this a secret, not tell anybody who I live with that I made this faux pas. You know, when you're tired and you're stoned and we're out with random people's energies, because you know, boardwalk, the later it gets, the more you get these weird random people's energies, which makes it kind of cool. Makes it fun. Oh boy. You gotta walk carefully because I didn't turn the light on the hallway and I don't want to trip up on things. I'm gonna put this back where it goes. I have the fan on low because it's really, it's 74 degrees. I have the weather on the lower corner of my screen. Now we can talk freely, and I don't have to worry about people getting in my business. One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is I want to give you some advice. I know you didn't ask me for some advice, but I would like to think I am uniquely qualified to give some advice about different life stuff, especially when it relates to living in the city and dealing with all kinds of people who maybe use different kind of drugs and stuff. And you know, I want to be helpful and I want to be agreeable. And I don't usually carry lighters with me, but I have been sometimes because it occurred to me that I don't want to just use up everybody else's fuel. I want to have a lighter on me. Just, you know, I want to be respectful and everything. And when I got back from playing guitar last night, and it had done some rain. I realize I'm interrupting myself. That I wanted to talk to you about getting caught in the rain and riding out the storm and all that stuff. And I probably said some. Oh, that's right. I was going to talk about it when I got home last night, and I was in no shape. I filmed before, so you don't really know even what I did yesterday. So we'll get into that. I was really tired and burnt out and kind of stoned, and I didn't come straight home. A lot of times I like to go check out a few places before I actually come home. Yeah, I was going to leave 3 different times before I actually left, and I'm glad I stuck it out because I made a little bit more money by moving around a couple of locations. But I didn't come straight home. I went to this place where the chicken lady drops off the Popeye's chicken. And you know, she drops off a number of places on the boardwalk too, but there's places here in town where she drops off chicken. And I went to that drop off spot, and there is this, they had dropped off a whole bunch of Chinese art. I'm gonna go in my mother's room and I'm gonna bring it out. But before I do, I want to give you some advice. Say you're hanging out with crackheads. Now, I'm not gonna judge. I've tried it before, years and years ago. I was a journalist of curiosity and I did try crack cocaine. And I didn't like how it made my heart beat real fast. And I didn't like the taste in my mouth. And I was afraid of its addictiveness that I had heard all about through just everybody who's anybody heard through the grapevine, if not through the ad campaigns, that crack cocaine is addictive. And plus, not to get into race and everything, so much of the demographic that seemed to be mainly into it when I first tried it was definitely not me. Now, through life, I've learned anybody can become a crackhead. Look what happened to Mike Lindell. But he got clean and sober, and he, I don't know his total story. You'd have to read his book. I think Jesus had something to do with it, but lots of people quit lots of things and they don't get religion involved. So, but I mean, that's how he did it. But you know, the older I get in life, the more I realize that more and more people, you'd be surprised, you're doing drugs. And I have met some new friends here that are doing all kinds of things. And so there's all kinds of crackheads over at this place where people get free stuff. People drop off things. If I have things I want to give away, I put them in the spot. It's in the neighborhood. Well, there's this crackhead guy, and he looked like kind of a short-haired Jesus, totally, Jesus hippie kind of guy, and white, and asked me if I had a lighter. Sure, I let him use a lighter, and he said he'll give it back, and he's hiding under his hair because it was a little bit of a breeze, and he was smoking crack pipe, and he gave it back to me. So, okay, I didn't think anything of it. I'm thinking, I'm going to do my wake and bake this morning. I got this pipe, I got this weed, and I'm going to do a wake and bake, right? Well, guess what? Here's a lighter from my crackhead buddy. You see a lot of things what people do, crackheads do to lighters. And then actually he had the metal thing. And as you can see, it's not on here. I tried to put it on, it kept on falling off. I could not get the wheel to turn. And I won't turn the things, I won't use these things without the metal thing because that protects it from catching on fire, and I really am not a fan of fire. I use it because I need to. You need to cook and you need to get stoned. But other than that, I kind of don't really work with that element. All right. So, but if you lend a lighter to a crackhead, you might get a fucked up lighter as a result. Uh, I know you want to be helpful, but just be advised crackheads aren't always reliable, really. I just my observation. Now, I am going to use a better lighter, and you know what? For this, I'm going to turn my fan off because it will just blow the thing. Because I'm really in the mood to smoke some weed, even though I did do a hit before doing this live thing. I just kind of get a kick out of the fact that of all the things that YouTube is threatening to kick me off for, this is one thing that they're not gonna mess with me about. They might ultimately age restrict this. That just means that you have to be 18 to watch this. But you know what? To my knowledge, I'm not partying with any juveniles. It's not like in the old days where people thought it was kind of cool. They thought we were passing on a torch because somebody did it for us. Now, there are lots of laws and it involves, child exploitation and creepy things that nobody wants to be guilty of. Even though that said, it's hard to think of a 17-year-old as a child, but the older you get, the more it's creepy. So, no, it's best to avoid the situation. And I have asked a few young people that I recently met if they were over 18, because there are some people who look so seriously young. They're on the boardwalk right now that are actually in their 40s or their late 30s. And I'm surprised because they're looking very youthful. I'm guessing because they are more active during the night and they're not out baking their skin during the daytime, because all white people that have to be out in the daytime because they're doing entertainment during the day, they're doing something where they have to interact with tourists in the public, their skin gets so brown and so leathery, and I don't want to get my son looking like that, or my skin looking like that. Oh, speaking of skin looking like that, my mother told me, here, I'm gonna take this shirt off. I only put this shirt on to give me some extra protection against the UV rays, because even though it's only 8:42 a.m., there is still UV radiation going on. There is a lot of cloud cover out there, but the water droplets just act like magnifying glasses and they increase the sun's power. And you might not feel like it's burning hot, but it is. And my mother told me that area where I got the sun poisoning is red now. She said it even looked that dirty red sun damaged color, kind of like my father used to get when he would sell ice cream on the beach. Growing up, he had his neck and his arms look like lobsters. Lobsters. That was my father's skin color. I think there was a time when I thought that he was a red skinned Injun. Those are the words that we used then. I'm not, I'm not politically correct. I'm going to speak my truth and how, from the generation that I came up in, there is phrases that I grow up, people said, and with very few exceptions, I don't edit my speech. Part of it is to honor my ancestors. If I quote something that I heard many times growing up. You know, when you're a little kid and you want to do something, and your parents, and the grown-ups know that what's better for you, and of course you're not going to do it. They don't want you touching a hot stove and burning yourself. They know that you can't do these different grown-up things. They, oh, why can't I do this? And your mom and dad say, because I'm free, white, and over 21. And that was, everybody said that in those days. And it was basically, no, you can't do it. End of subject. It wasn't meant to be a racist term. It wasn't meant to other anybody. It wasn't meant to be cruel. That said, I don't know how, if any black households said it. I don't know that because I only know what it's like to grow up in a white family. We only know what we know, right? And you know, one of the things I love about being my mother's caregiver is there's things that we can share with each other because she is of her generation, and I do occasionally hang out with a few people her age and older, but not a lot of them. Mostly on internet I interact with people, but in person most of the people I interact with, I'm guessing, are from 18 through their 70s. I don't know. I mean, I don't ask how old everybody is. There's people who I assume for years were older and they're actually not. You can't tell, but still, you figure you have an idea of the demographics of the people that you're hanging out with, at least the ages, if not the cultural backgrounds. That you have to get to talking to people. Okay, I'm going to throw this over here. I want to smoke some weed, and I want to talk to you about. I never got to talk to you about yesterday. Oh man. Yeah, it started to rain, and I was concerned, of course, about the thunderstorms, and I couldn't tell. I didn't have any clear space behind me. Even if I walked all the way to the edge of the railing, the buildings, there were still buildings, and I couldn't see the horizon. If I could have gotten to see the bay, you want to take a look to see if there's a storm approaching. Now, if I would have walked all the way to where Trump Plaza was, then yes, I would have seen. But that would have necessitated going through a whole lot of people, leaving my stuff unattended. Remember, I had a cart that had a tote bag full of a couple of clothes changes and my what I call weed purse, which is my Coach bag. That I wonder if it's real Coach. It'd be cool if it was. And, you know, I'm not a bag snob or anything, but I had one other Coach bag that I think is a real one. And this is before I knew that some of these bags had were considered to have some kind of value. When I was living in San Francisco, and I was sometimes living in shelters, I had this Coach bag, and there was some people that were volunteers or employees of there, and they worked. I don't know if it was a night shift, or it was either when I was going there to go to sleep or when I was waking up, getting ready to shower and leave. But one of them wanted to buy my purse, and I said no. And I had a feeling that maybe there's some kind of designer value, but the thing is, I tore the lining out of it. And the thing is, there was something that said that you can get free maintenance of a Coach bag for life if you contacted the company. But in those days, I was thinking the liner was just an unnecessary inconvenience, even though I understand the liners protect the real leather from dirt and stuff. But I still have that purse. I believe it's in my storage in Hollywood. It's not a big bag. It's a real nice sized bag. It was big enough to carry a day timer, you know, my journals, makeup, what I consider the most important things. Not too big size brush, makeup brushes that don't have real exceedingly long handles. And it was like about this deep, and because it was leather, it was kind of stretchable, and it had both a handle, a loop handle, and the clips that you can put a normal strap on. So I really liked it, and it was something I carried in addition to the metal steel frame backpack that I carried that I swore by. If you are going to be living in squats, possibly thumbing rides, possibly riding freight trains, I really recommend a good steel frame backpack, the kind that you can attach a sleeping bag to and things. I mean, if they have a flap so that if it rains or whatever, you don't get, or if a car goes through a puddle and there's a big splash and your back's turned, your stuff doesn't get wet. Good steel frame backpacks, I'm telling you, they are awesome. You can lean them up against trees, metal things. You can use shoelaces to lash them to things. They're great if you're sleeping outside. They're great for camping. They're great if you're in the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, which is how a lot of us first got exposed to them. You can buy them in military surplus stores. That and there's last I was in Los Angeles, there was two of them. You get all kinds of groovy gear, stuff that I was amazed that you could buy as a civilian. But if you're any kind of survival kind of gear, and I'm all into that stuff big time. But, and things that I learned helping my mom out with her Cub Scout troops and stuff. I knew I would probably have come in handy. And if you are camping out, or if you're with your homeless friends, or if you become homeless, those skills will come in handy. Trust me. Trust me. No, they say that no knowledge you get is wasted. Usually they talk about your school learning. And, when it comes to things like algebra and stuff, which I never really got a handle on, I didn't get any use for those higher maths. It just made me feel stupid, kind of like computers do sometimes. But you know what? The skills that you get exposed to, that you find, oh man, I have use for this. And it's so groovy when you find out that you have use for something that you learn. And especially if it's a survival skill. And if you can teach each other, the things that I've learned from the older people on the streets, or the people who are younger but have really been around. Maybe they were kicked out of their house when they were too young to be on their own, and so they had to learn some things. And people teach each other. That is awesome. And that's one of the things I love about being a YouTuber, is that you get to share information, and yeah, you get to do some teaching, and you get to share experiences. And when I'm being a fuck up and I'm doing things, and maybe sometimes I make a fool of myself, guess what? You know what? I'm not alone, because we've all made fools of ourselves. And if I can humanize things, and if I can make you feel better about yourself, and if maybe I get comments in the chat room and people say, I've done that, don't feel bad. We've been there. And whether you're younger or whether you're older, whether you're sober, whether you're fucked up on all kinds of drugs, we're human. And yeah, so I guess I get to talk to you about yesterday. Oh, my buddy Big John, who had the really good weed, he took a look at my pipe and he refused to use it, even though I always keep screens, because I hate not using screens to get the bowls clogged. He wouldn't use this pipe because he thought it looked pornographic. He thought it was designed to look like phallic. He didn't use those words, obviously. I said, look, man, I can't control the bowl designers. All right, I'm back. So, all right, sorry about that. Hey, good morning. I'm not a morning person, you guys. I'm fucking not a morning person. And I'm sure I showed way too much before. And you know what? Excuse me. Um, I think I'll be okay. But, oh, I wore my new boots yesterday. And these are not high heeled by any stretch of the imagination, at least not compared to high heels. Am I right? Like, okay, I'm going to show you these shoes, and then hold on a second. Now, when I think of high heels, like dancing shoes, whatever, I think of something like this. Okay, this is a high heel. Am I right? So compared to this, these are not high heels. I'm gonna act like a preacher now. Can I get a witness? I'll even bring. I'll even show you a Bible. Here, I want to act like a preacher. Here, act like a preacher. I got the word. I got some other religious texts too. I got your Bhagavad Gita. I even got something that can get me beheaded. So I'm not going to show that. So yeah, I got you guys covered. So these are what you think of as high heels, not these. I acquired these through a source of free clothes a couple months ago, right? I thought, oh, these are badass. These are bitchin'. They should be comfortable. They got the Vibram soles. They're bouncy on the inside. And I'm thinking if these are Doc Martens or what the label says. Oh, and I put shoe polish on them. I put white fucking shoe polish on these. Let me see what the label is. Oh, can I fucking see? I'm not putting the glasses on because I found them on my floor. And I'm not gonna. I'm a germaphobe. I'm not gonna put something on my face that touched the floor. The label just said made in China. Blah 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 blah. Let me see if there's a brand. Well, if they were real Doc Martens, they would have thing. And I have real Docs that are my size, and I only wore them once, but they're surprisingly hard on the feet. And I'm going to show you something about my feet. I have bunions now. I'm going to try to do this without being obscene. But you guys have probably seen my butt and my thighs by now. So, and we're grown ups. If we're not grown ups, ask your mom and dad, because I'm not your babysitter. Oh, and YouTube, don't take this down, fuckheads. I've got, my mom says, bunions on both my big toes. And it's like they're always aching a little bit. And I did get an arthritis diagnosis year before I broke my finger. And matter of fact, I got a 2-for-1 because he saw my hands, my wrists, and my ankles, my feet. And he said, you got it both places. So it's good to know. Now I know that old dance injury that I've been having since the 80s because I did, in Los Angeles, I was a stage dancer, sometimes 7 days a week. And I didn't care about the bumps and bruises because I thought that if you're going to put on a good show, if you're not hurting, if you don't have some bruises, if you didn't throw yourself down on that plexiglass stage, and believe me, there's only a little bit of give on a plexiglass stage, you didn't give your all. And rarely were you remunerated the way you should have been, especially when I heard what girls were making in the shake your ass places, and I was not making bank like that. Granted, the girls making the big money had the big boobies to begin with, and they were probably giving dirty shows. And believe me, there was lots of dirty shows in those places, especially if they didn't have liquor, because you can go fully nude in Los Angeles if the place doesn't serve liquor, and they would just have a bar right next door. Like when I danced in the Ivar Theater, which was the most fun ever, and that's why I will willingly talk about the Ivar, because that was such a magical time. There was none of this, hey, give 10% of your tips to the head bartender or this or that. It was none of that. You kept everything you made, except for the fact that one of the doormen happened to go into my purse, my wallet, and he stole thousands of dollars. But hey, they named and shamed him. Max, yes, I'm talking about you. Then he had the nerve to, when I finally joined Facebook in 2017, he found me on Facebook and he friended me. As if, how do you think, even with all the drugs that most of us were doing back in those days, how would you think a girl would forget if you were caught stealing her wallet? The girls that I shared a dressing room, let me set this up for you. They caught this guy red-handed going into my purse. Imagine this was my purse, unzipping it, taking the wallet out, caught him, marched him to the head office where the lady who had the microphone in, and there's a tape deck, and you give her your tape, and they would set it up, they would cue it, right? And she would announce, there's Leathur. Now, if you want a good show, want to see the scenery, put down some greenery. And then they put the music on in the spotlight and you go out there. And, if you've ever been to those places, you know the drill. Well, I would go leave the dressing room, go down the stairs, go to go down the curtain, go on the stage. The dressing room would be empty. The girls saw the guy do this, and they, like I said, they caught him red-handed. And I'll never forget that day. How could you forget something like that? Plus, I kept journals at the time. All those years I was in California, I kept notebooks. I wrote everything down. I don't need to trust my memory. I know that when you drink, when you snort substances, when you smoke lots of weed, when you drink, you lose brain cells and you forget things. The brain becomes more like a sieve. I know that. So you write things down. If you're making memories and having an exciting time, and if you're writing poetry, which I was writing a lot of, you write shit down. I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of journals. I actually shipped a lot of them back. I have a plastic storage container that my father roped shut, and I haven't broken his seal, but anyway, it's protected against the vermin and all this shit, and it's waterproof, you know. Um, and I don't know, I probably have more notebooks in my storages in LA, and I still really do need to go back out there. And if I can consolidate the 2 units into one, I will have my rent, you know. That I'm another part of the reason why I'm out playing guitar and making money is because I need to come up with this rent money, and I have to find a way to get it to LA too. I haven't had anybody say, "Hey, Leather, I'll put you up. I know you need to go and get your stuff." I'm kind of nervous about the crime there and the violence and stuff, but I need to get out there, and it's going to take at least a week going through my storage. And they don't let you use the dumpster at the storage facility. Well, last time I was trying to use the dumpster to throw stuff out, they basically told me, they threatened me with eviction. And how could you do that to a client who's had I had a unit there since 1993. You are going to evict me? No, 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 no. Me, and or my family had been sending checks or putting it on a credit card from Atlantic City to Hollywood, California since 1993. Or I paid in person when I first got it. Obviously, I paid in person. I was paying it when it was like $13 a month or $18 a month, whatever it was. When you're escaping an abusive relationship and you need to protect your things, you find a self storage thing. They are so wonderful to be able to put your stuff someplace safe. And at the time, I also had a P.O. box. And P.O. boxes, they're really great for storing money. And if you don't have a safe deposit box or you don't have storage, what you do is you get mail that you've already gotten. And, because you've opened it, right? And you can say, right, keep, say, a bank statement in it and cash, even though these things ultimately got found by the bad boyfriend and the guy who ultimately stole my car. Oh man, yes, there definitely does exist evil people in this world. I can't name and shame him or get him back on him because he's dead now. So you know what? And I probably told that story. Again, some of it's not my story to tell, only my part, and it's my story to tell. And his ultimate demise, I was told, Leather, girl, don't worry your pretty little head over it. And the guy that told me this is this guy, he looked just like Prince. And he's a guy in Hollywood that looked just like Prince. I mean, he was pretty, he was beautiful, and he was charming. And anyway, another person who I wonder if he's still around, I wonder if he still looks as good as he did, because, men change more than women, I think. Unless it's a weight gain thing. But I find that men, because you can grow facial hair or shave off your facial hair, or whether or not you keep your hair, or whether or not you go gray, or whether some guys and girls for that matter, sometimes you get a white streak, which I think is so cool. Like Joe Perry's got that, and Kirk Hammett from uh, Metallica. I saw an interview with him. He's got a border like gray or white on the sides. I think that looks so cool. I love it when my mother says it with women. That used to be called a birthmark, as if it's something unattractive, and that's really awesome. It's like you don't need to go through the trouble of dyeing this to get this effect, and people get it naturally. I think it's wonderful. My mother, she's starting to guilt trip me. She needs a hair color job and stuff, and yeah, I should. I'd say, let's do a video about it. She's like, no, 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 no. You know, like my mother doesn't understand that the more you have a loved one on video, you're memorializing them and you're making them eternal and stuff. And my mother just doesn't get it. And she's dealing with kind of depression about, she still misses dad and stuff and the heat. And she's so tired. And I don't know what's up with her health. Seeing her pop those nitroglycerin tablets. Hey, I'm gonna open up this door and prop it open, because it's hot. I don't want to hear any urban ambiance. It's not right now. You don't have people hanging out across the street. You don't have the rap music. Sometimes it gets pretty loud. I ignore it. I don't say anything anymore to the people. I've come to I've made a truce with people. I've decided to go along to get along as far as the crowd, and occasionally, and it's not just that I know to go and hunt for roaches. Occasionally, people will throw me a little something, something, and maybe my silence is being bought. But you know what? Hey, if you're gonna throw me a little marijuana so that I can stop being an uptight little bitch, which I mean, the thing is, when this is your home and you live here, and especially when you're too poor to be able to afford air conditioning, so you have to open your windows, and people are literally setting up practically a public living room right under your doorstep, at least give you some recompense. And lately, I'm getting some recompense. And also, but a lot of it is changing how you view things. Attitude really is everything. If you decide not to look at people as adversarial, but look to see, what do I have in common with these people? I might not dig the music you're wearing, and I might not like the crack pipes and the heroin needles and shit. Okay, granted. And I might not like when you let your dogs shit all over the place and don't poop or scoop them. I definitely don't like that. But surely there's things I do like. I do like it when you say, how am I doing? And you talk nice to me. I do like it when you have treated my mother with respect. Those times when my mom was taking the trash out because I was too afraid to deal with the gangs, which probably weren't gangs, by the way. I was misjudging out of fear. I know that now. When you look at things as an outsider, you rarely have all the information. The more you observe, you'll get more and more information, but still, things are often not what they seem. Sometimes you have to really get to know the people, or you find out that, oh, some of my friends and my buddies know these people. And when you find out that there's mutual acquaintances, then you learn more things, you get more of the backstory. It's not just what can you learn from looking out a window, you know. Sometimes it involves communication. And some of these people remember when I used to yell out the little bathroom and used to say, shut up. And times I used to throw water out there on advice by one of the local police, by the way. But I don't do these things anymore. I have occasionally accidentally thrown things out a window because I didn't want to feed vermin, throw some crumbs out a window, throw ashes out a window. But at least I try to make sure that there's nobody directly underneath me. I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to. How would I feel if I was walking down the street and I got something in my hair from somebody's window and they weren't looking and they were being rude? It's all goes down to treat others as you want to be treated. I dig it. But no, I realize these people, they're just hanging out with their friends. They're socializing. They are engaged in commerce. When I'm playing my guitar on the boardwalk, I'm hoping that I get some money in my hat. That's engaging in commerce, especially if you think that there is something in exchange for it. The people who come up to me and say they appreciate it, or lately I've been singing, I've been coming up with songs and stuff, stupid little things that are not politically correct. Oh, I found another online guitar tuner. Fender.com has a free musical instrument tuner. And I used it before I went out last night. And I tuned the remaining strings on my guitar. Let me see if they're still tuned. Oh, sometimes the string gets caught on the edge and it sounds higher, but But yeah, I have something that I actually do play for people. Should I do it? It doesn't, I don't have a great voice. I don't, but I have been singing lately. There's this really short song that I sing for the passersby. And yeah, it makes me a couple dollars. But then one of my friends heard it, who I was getting high with last night, and he thought that I was sending a signal to the people that were sleeping backstage and I was taunting them, and it wasn't intended to. But maybe if, they say if the flu shits, if a person feels guilty because they know that they are kind of guilty, and I play fast and loose with some words in the English language, like the word bum, for instance. I mean, sometimes I have been a bum. A bum is not a bad thing. A bum is just somebody who is free, hangs out, and who likes to loiter and likes to socialize. You don't need to be a person who is drunk and disorderly, and you don't need to panhandle, and you don't need to bother people and interject. Like I'm kind of a speak when spoken to person, unless you're my friend and I know you. And if I know you, I'm not going to know you. Of course, I'm going to come over and I'm going to say hi. But that said, if I'm on my way to work and my decision to take my guitar, go outside, I'm usually on my way to the place I'm going to decide to stop, throw my hat out, and make some money. And usually I don't stop when people say they want to hear a song. Yesterday I did for the first time, and they actually gave me a $5 bill. So maybe I should stop for people. But the thing is, most of the people that say play me a song, they want to hear something that they heard on the radio. They want to hear something that they know. They don't want to hear some original shit that you're doing. But sometimes they're cool with that. But most of the time, they ask you to play things that, if you've heard it, you don't know how to play it. I get a lot of requests for Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd. And I get a lot of requests for hip hop stuff. Most of the hip hop stuff I'm not familiar with. Or like I got a request for Outkast last night, and I like some of their stuff, but can I play it? If I don't have a tablature, unless the chords that I recognize and they're easy chords, oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of Beatles songs that I can play because they're in the easy chords that I know. But then again, if I don't have a tablature, I probably can't play it. So if those are the expectations you guys have, you're going to be disappointed. But if you'll let somebody just fuck around, play some chord progressions, put some funny lyrics to it, you know, because people were on the street were saying, Leather, you make so much more money if you sing. Nobody wants to just hear guitar. Even though there's plenty of people that are just good guitarists and you're playing and you're practicing and shit. But you know what? Anyway. Oh, and there's a notebook I'm trying to find. It actually has the lyrics to the Seagull song. I think maybe it's in the grow room. But if I could get that and write down all the chords, that would really be the showstopper. And that's something I wrote when I was in front of the Hard Rock, and I was getting kicked off the Hard Rock. And who kicked me off the Hard Rock? That redheaded cop, the one they call the Red Menace. Well, anyway, I gotta find a pick. Hold on. In my pouch. Okay, the I have another thing that has guitar picks. I gotta find it. I have a lot of things. Oh, okay. No, I don't want to use a white tiger pick that belonged to the guy from Kiss. No, I mean it's not that you guys don't deserve it. You know. Okay, I found another pick. Yeah. What if I split that pick? That would suck. Oops. No, I don't want to knock over my MAGA hat. Trumpers, how you guys doing? I got something in my shoe. Oh, so yeah, I guess I learned another thing last night. Wearing a new pair of shoes, it's a good idea to bring a pair of comfortable flats with you, just in case your feet hurt. But I was thinking, I'm not going to be treading miles. How far was I going to go? The Atlantic City Boardwalk is only 7 miles if you go its entire length. And I was only going to go to the casino district. At the I wouldn't go much further than Ocean unless I came upon a beach rave, okay? And I wouldn't go much further than 2 blocks, maybe 3 past Tropicana, because not chance of people hanging out, partying beyond there. And if I can't find my friends or I don't have a specific destination, really, why do I need to go out? So, unless I knew that I could find some roaches or something, like say I found a Stockton State College hangout where people smoked hella weed and there was lots of roaches, then yes, I'd go there. But other than that, and plus, if it's going to be raining, again, do you really want roaches that are wet that might be fused with tobacco? It's really nasty. All right, this is what I was playing for the passersby. And it's called Squirrels. Squirrel. Love nuts. Squirrel. We love nuts. All kinds of nuts. The bird on the boardwalk like to drink alcohol all the time. But I eat because I'm sober. I'm a friend of Bill W. Bill W. Bill W. Bill W. Squirrels. Love nuts. Squirrels. Love nuts. The love on the boardwalk. They drink alcohol. I like it. The Bill W. Why you do that all the time? It's so good. Break yourself that I gave it. I thought I gave it. I gave it. I gave it. Squirrel. Love nuts. Squirrel. They love nuts. Only in the daytime. The bombs, my friend, but they drink all the time. They pass out. They throw up. It's too much, but they won't listen to me. 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 Now, I was told I was doing this like about a half a block before the stage area of Boardwalk Hall last night because they had some kind of jazz act going on, and it was, I really didn't care for it. I mean, the keyboardist was good, the piano player was good, but other than that, I just found it really annoying. And it was not loud enough to interfere with my playing, and hopefully my caterwauling didn't bother them. But I played some variation of this, and I played something else. There was a song about police. See, most of what my stuff was doing was about my police issues because you figure people are just walking from here to there. They're not, for the most part, going to stick around. Occasionally, people do. So you want to have something that's long enough so that people stick around out of curiosity or something. And sometimes, oh, a couple people filmed me yesterday. I hope it wasn't when things sounded bad. I'm so glad I got tuned before I left the house. When you're missing a middle string, it really affects how it sounds. But having a tune is better than nothing because I don't want to break up any of my string sets. And I just, if I could go, I don't, and it wouldn't be worth it to keep on buying again, single strings at $1.50 or something. It's ridiculous. But we should have a string exchange on the street so that, extra strings, exchange. That would be good. So, because I had doubles. And a matter of fact, I gave an extra one to Fuzzy, who's now a speed freak. What the fuck are you thinking, dude? Fuzzy, if you're watching me, which I'm sure you're not, you lied when you said that you quit drinking. I understand that you can always go back to your job and stuff, but I know you're living here. I have a feeling of where you're staying. You're back to drinking hard, and you're not sleeping because you're sniffing speed stuff. You know, hey, I used to do it too, but come on, you know, didn't you learn anything when you and somebody who shall be nameless found that Heroin last summer and both had to beat Narcan? People doing some stupid stuff. Come on, knock it off. Anyway, you're not watching. But there's something else that I did. No, I won't do that one because I think this is lose a tune, and plus it goes for a higher register. Anyway, it's a police song that can be worded many different ways. And anyway, that's what I did all night. And then I noticed it started to rain, and I found something that I could kind of duck under, and I moved my hat a little bit. Oh yeah, and then there was some idiot guy that rode his bicycle through my hat, and I told him off. And so then my Big John showed up, but he wouldn't smoke out of that pipe because he said it looked like a dick. So he had some really good stuff that smelled really good. And it was in a little bag. He's the kind of guy though that he shows up all fucked up, and he says, "Hey, I got weed. You want to smoke?" And he hangs out right where I'm playing, and like he insists on doing it right there. And then of course other people get attracted to the spot, and so this place where I'm supposed to be, practicing my livelihood, when a group of people gather, I think it sends a message to people that you're not professional, or maybe I look homeless, or maybe I think they're going to be much less likely to give a person money. Oh, I want to interrupt my story. I want to run something by you, and I want you to tell me if you think I overreacted or if you think I was right. Say it's toward the end of your playing night. You moved to a variety of locations. In each location, you were rewarded by getting tips, right? And one of the last tips I got, I had gone from Boardwalk Hall to near Tropicana, and I was back toward Tropicana, but closer to here. And I was near a pizza place that was just closing, and somebody had listened to that song and gave me a tip. And then they kept on going. And then this homeless acquaintance of mine, who I know from the scene, he thanks them also, which I thought made it look like I was with this person. And since he had a whole bunch of luggage with him, it made it look like we were all homeless, I thought. And the thing is, because I have this guitar around me, but I also have a tote bag that has the purse, a jug, which I had two items of clothing, I decided that an open jug made much more sense to have your uh, extra layers than a bag because, first of all, it was sturdier. Second of all, it stood upright. It was not so likely to be blown around. It could stand in a cart anyway, but it also has one of those reusable shopping bags like are ubiquitous. Since we have the New Jersey bag ban, literally everybody, is carrying around some kind of reusable shopping bag. Some of them have the marks of different grocery chains. Some of them just say thank you. Some of them have flowers on them. Some of them have Bible verses on them. Some of them, they're just different things. And everybody and his uncle is giving them out so that you can carry things. And this includes people in the homeless demographic. This includes people going from supermarkets and stuff. So, but as a result, you might be carrying something that looks like the homeless people are carrying. So again, there's things that are going to make you look like them. And if I am trying to, my social life is my social life. But when I'm out there trying to make coin with my guitar, yes, I distance myself from my friends because it doesn't make me look good. If you're going to be loitering around me, standing 6 feet away, smoking a cigarette, first of all, that'll get in my sinuses and that'll make me feel sick. Second of all, it's going to seem like I am, making money for a group. One of the things I used to notice, and I used to hate in Los Angeles, seeing people that were spanging. I was never a beggar. I was never a spanger. There's maybe two times in my life I had to beg for it. One of them was after spending like 24 hours in Tijuana. I was $1 short of train fare to get back home. And that's it. Oh, that time, yes, I did ask for $1 and I got it. And I was able to get back to Los Angeles. The year was 1989. I got to drive a Camaro, bitchin' Camaro. See, I've only driven sports cars in my life. My Dodge Daytona Turbo Z and somebody else's Camaro. Yeah. If you know, you know. If you love sports cars, you love sports cars. But yeah, I am not a beggar. And if my friends start asking for money, I walk away because I don't want to be seen. You're seen. I know you're judged by the company you keep. If people are begging and you're in a group, they think all of you are doing it. And when I was doing my 5 lines or less acting, when I was doing my extra work in Los Angeles, when I was a stage dancer, I had lots of street punk friends that were begging. I always walked away from them when they were doing it. San Francisco, same thing. I always walked away from the beggars, even if all my roommates were doing it. I am many things. Beggar is not one of them. So yeah, when I'm making money and people insist on and if they say you want to get stoned, it's either leave my guitar spot, and of course if I leave my hat, sometimes people take your hat. Lately, people have been taking my hat. They put money in it, then they put the hat upside down to protect the money from being blown away. But then, if there's strong enough gust of wind, both the money and the hat will blow away. And it was like starting to pick up a little bit. And my umbrella, which was open, I tried to hook it so that it wouldn't leave my laundry cart, but sometimes it left it. I was using the open umbrella to protect things from the rain if it blew it, because it did start to rain. And then, of course, I was concerned about damage to my guitar. And then I was also worried about lightning, so I ran to the railing a couple times to see if I could see. And I never saw any evidence of lightning, and the rain never got too heavy. It got as heavy as it did at one point. And then when the concert was over, then I went to the area in front of Boardwalk Hall, like where the coffee shop is, and where the ticket will call window is, and where the different entrances to Boardwalk Hall are. And there's a real lot amount of people there, mostly people who had already been sitting there watching the show. So I stood there, and sometimes I played, but mostly I didn't, because frankly, I didn't see the point. It wasn't like I was going to get any money from those people. Plus, you know, oh, but then, yeah, and then I suddenly sat my hat out because I'm thinking, once the rain stopped, I'm thinking I might as well, if there's traffic, I might as well try to make something. And that's where my friend Bob Cunty Fuck showed up. And with that, let's smoke some weed. My friend Bob, he's one of my newer friends here in Atlantic City. I only met him last year. He was doing a fake British accent. He was imitating Sir Paul McCartney. And I have a thing for British accents. And I like Australian accents. I like all kinds of accents. I love New York accents. Every accent except Southern New Jersey accents. And if you're a local, I apologize. No harm, but people say wooder instead of water. And the different things, different ways that they talk. Um, ants. Um, oh, the pest control guy said it would take a good 2 weeks to start seeing any evidence that anything was done. Of course, he opened up a bunch of the snapping traps, which, you know what? I remember when the first time I saw snapping traps, I hid them all because I thought that was cruel. But people have since told me that that's really the most humane way to kill the mice, because it right away snaps their neck. But there's none in my room because, but I still think that they should make glue traps that you line your walls with so that only crawling insects can get on and flies can touch. But then again, the innocent little moths that get in, if they touch the walls, they get stuck. And that would be right. So, okay, make them small enough that maybe only the cockroaches. All right. Yeah. So I start playing, and since people have been nagging me to sing, I never sang. Last year, I never sang, except for when I started to do that seagull song, but I couldn't remember all the chord progressions, and I was still having problems with a few of the chords. I've really gotten a lot better with my fingering, my technique. But the only thing is, the longer you play with missing strings, you got to make sure that you're still putting your fingers in a proper position, whether or not there's a string there. So you have to be conscious and mindful and careful. And I like to be able to see what I'm doing. That's why I'm not looking out at people so much when I'm playing. I want to make sure, because you can easily slip and it sounds bad. Some things don't sound as bad when you shift position, other things really do. And you have a missing string, that makes it sound more out of tune than it might already be. So, anyway, I started playing that song, Squirrels. And so my friend Bob Cuntyfuck said that I was taunting the people who were up against the railing where people sleep behind. There's an area where a lot of people sleep. And they sleep anywhere from there, where there's an entrance to the beach, to behind the stage, but to the left, like past the JFK statue. People sleep all around there. And, you know, I would maybe be more respectful of people's anonymity, if not for the fact that I was treated very rudely and threatened by some. Okay, they said he's crazy. So what is that the excuse for anytime somebody acts out of turn? Oh, they're just mentally ill. People sometimes do really, really, really despicable things and they're mentally ill. That doesn't justify, oh, they can't be punished because they're crazy. I know a few people who use that excuse. Now, this bird won't fly in my little airport. Okay? Okay? This is the Leather Rock channel. This is the no bullshit unless I'm bullshit. Okay? Now, this isn't roach weed. This is weed, but it looks like dirt weed. It smells like something burnt that came out of your ass and off of my shoe. Well, I don't know. I don't really want to know what came out of anybody's ass, but it doesn't look like great stuff. But Bob, the country fuck man, says it's good. So, oh, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Oh God. Oh, sorry, Bhagavad Gita. Didn't mean to. I'm gonna wipe you off. I don't desecrate holy texts, especially Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is cool. You know, they don't get all unhinged if somebody does a demonstration, if you get my drift. Uh, lately, according to Atheist Republic, There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on in India too now. Can we all just get along? Oh, by the way, I noticed something. I have two almost identical dresses like this. The other one is a little bit smaller. The thing is, this definitely doesn't show my ass. Whereas the other one, I worry about occasionally mooning people. I don't. They're both mini dresses, but this one is not as form fitting and it's not as attractive. And this is why I shouldn't wear it on camera. This doesn't show my waist or whatever. It's just fits me like nothing. I want to get a tissue. So usually, I put a couple of napkins on my floor specifically so that I could cough up a loogie. And they would just be on paper, and when the paper was covered with it, I let it dry. And then I would, I know this sounds disgusting, but this floor is going to have to be replaced anyway. The cats died on it. Well, Cassie, yeah, literally. The cats both died on it. When Tabby Boy died, he vomited, he had bile on it, he had diarrhea on the floor. I cleaned up what I could, but some of the things, this floor is disgusting. So I don't have any problems with spitting on it. But again, I'm not a fucking scumbag. I'm going to, I don't want mold and more germs than there already are. Uh, you have paper that you don't want. Just you spit on it, you throw out the paper. But we had pest control yesterday, so I did a major cleanup, and you know, uh, anyway. So I totally slept in my makeup, so I didn't refresh it. So it's smeared and it's faded, and this is what it looks like when you wake up in the morning. When I lived in LA, I always slept in my makeup. My reasoning was, well, first of all, sometimes I wasn't alone. You want to look good for the person that you're spending time with, am I right? Sometimes I didn't sleep that much because a lot of people you did drugs. And also, if I'm going to go to sleep, I want to make sure. What if there's an emergency and the firemen coming to rescue me? I wanted to have a full face of makeup on. And my hair, it was always teased up real high. And in those days, I can't speak for other people in the scene. I didn't brush everything out and start up again the next day. No, I was a lifestyler. I lived the rock and roll life 24/7. I was as real as you can imagine. I always had my hair big when it was like flat flattening. Instead of brushing it out and redoing it, I just kept reteasing. It was like a big wad of cotton candy, probably. I'm going through so much hairspray. And yes, Aquanet was the best because depending on the color you use is how much of a hard hold you got, and it really stood up. Even if you were dancing and you would, and like even when I had these dance jobs where I would dance 7 days a week, then we would go out to the Rainbow Bar and Grill afterward to hope to rub elbows with those long-haired rock stars and who has weed. And I may have some speed in me because uh, I may have been up a couple of days, even though you kind of get that burnout kind of feeling when it's multiple days and you're not as bright and vibrant as like, there's nothing like the first 24 hours of but anyway, maybe I shouldn't go there. I want to find a tissue. Hold on. Ah, yeah. I really enjoyed my time in California. And I'm so glad I kept journals. I don't have to worry about my memories. I don't have to trust certain things. Like I would have a hard time writing down a timeline of what years, what months, and what years I did different things. But uh, some things I use as barometers, like big rock videos I got to be in, and things, historic things I got to witness. Like when the Rodney King riots were there, I was there. Excuse me. I had a bad boyfriend at the time I was living with. You are so vulnerable when you live with somebody. You know, it's so much safer if you're in a relationship, in my opinion. It's so much safer to have your own place. So if things go sour and the person turns out to be a raving lunatic or an abuser, they can't have that kind of control over you. At least to have some control over your space and your possessions. Otherwise, you have to go through, when you realize you have to escape the person, you have to make a plan. I'm so glad that they had self storages, that they were available, and they were literally in my neighborhood and close to my place of employment, that I was able to take a few of things. Like if there was, say, if there was a storage place a couple blocks away, which I wish there was, I would be able to start taking bags full of stuff out a little bit of time and stuff, and know that I had a place where I could protect all my things and safely get out when you see the writing on the wall. Having your own space is so much wonderful and so free and so much safer. Once you move in with somebody, you're really vulnerable to them. And especially if part of the reason why you're moving in with them is because you don't have money for rent anyway, I'm telling you, you may have a roof over your head, but the security that you're really giving up, I'm just speaking as somebody who had to escape abuse, and it was such a scary situation. And because you still have certain codependencies with this person, even you still have loving feelings for them, even though you know that you got to leave. And if you feel sad, and if this person is psychotic and they threaten that they're going to turn all your friends against you, and this guy would even threaten to take a half-page ad out in this major local Los Angeles music paper called Rock City News. He threatened to take a half-page ad out defaming my character. And the thought of, I don't know if he actually would have done it, but can people can and do destroy people's reputations who are totally innocent people all the time. If you watch cable TV, any of the A&E shows, they have an expose about Playboy, and they have a series about Miss America pageant. And it doesn't give dirt on the girls, it gives dirt on the management, on people that worked for the organization that ended up using intimidation and fear, and ruined innocent women's reputations who they had been Miss Americas. And usually you get a career in newscasting or different things because Miss America opens doors for you. And this woman was just not getting work, even though she'd had meetings with different executives for game shows and all kinds of different places in Hollywood. And later found out that there is a man who was spreading rumors that she was sleeping around with this one and that one and this one and that one. And all it takes is for somebody to spread lies like that for a person to stop being considered for auditions and things. And all kinds of things go on behind the scenes when people's lives get destroyed and their careers get destroyed. And they oftentimes, maybe most of the time, never know these things are going on. Good morning. Yeah. Sometimes I do this and I never know who's up, but I wanted to go live last night. I planned on doing it. Um, you're just tuning in now, so you don't know this. I was so fucked up and out of it when I got in yesterday. I left the front door all the way open. I left my cart open in front of the front door. Now I had the keys because I have the keys right here. Usually, when I come in, I take the keys, I put them in my mother's bedroom on her ironing board. That is the one place that I put certain things so that I don't lose them. It's better than hanging them on the wall or something. Because, sometimes push pins will fall out. I love push pins. Push pins are amazing. They're good for hanging things on. Push pins. But not even pull out of the wall, the thumbtacks. But anyway, I came in last night. I left the door all the way open, gaping open. Anybody could have walked up that door. All the crackheads around here, all the junkies around here. And I'm not saying this to be disparaging and cavalier. I am speaking the truth. I I have to admit, I have in my circle of acquaintances, I have people like that. I have junkies and crackheads, and they haven't done me dirty. What they have done is they have been flakes time wise. I have given them money for piles of roach weed that they didn't adequately take the tobacco wrappers out. And then I'm thinking, this is stuff I could be finding myself. Why the fuck am I tipping you for stuff? And then the clothes that they were selling me was from the same sources that I find on the streets. It's like I can find, if something catches my eye and it's been unattended for hours and hours and hours. Like I found my mother an Atlantic City air show shirt. It's an oversized shirt she could wear as a house dress, you know, and it's got some stains that will probably never be able to got gotten out, but it is sanitary and it's clean. And it's kind of historic because it talks about local things, you know. I find lots of things. You know, this shirt, this dress, it's supposed to be a men's extra large shirt. Um, but this weave, it's not attractive weave. Uh, what else do I want to talk about? Yeah, so it started raining, so I put my hat out. So then I started doing that song about the squirrels and the bums. And how that song came about, I noticed that the squirrels, how friendly they are, and you can feed them. And if you come hunker down and you give them peanuts or almonds or walnuts, any of that stuff, they'll take it. And now sometimes they'll run and they'll hold it in their mouth, their hands. Their hands. You ever look at a squirrel's hands? They look very human like. And you hold them. I think maybe you might even have opposable thumbs. And they'll go, and it's the cutest thing. And the other night I saw a little mouse. And you know, I sing for the mice. When there's nobody around, you know, I get quieter because I don't want to scare them. And I saw the tiniest little mouse near the vacant lot where Trump Plaza used to be. And he was so little. He was like this little. And he had the tiniest little round ears. Pinky white round ears. And the cutest little thing. I don't know if he was a baby or I was just a kind of little thing he was, but the thought that he is hated, that there are people that would actively leave out poisons, that would leave a glue trap that will suffocate them, make them starve in place, make them die of thirst. I mean, that is so cruel, you know. And yet, I guess I am speciesist, according to PETA, because I don't have any problems with a cockroach meeting that fate, you know. I don't feel sympathy for the flies that get caught on flypaper. And surely for the flies' limited lifespan, you would think they deserve some compassion, right? But then again, how much sentience do we attribute to those insects? Now, the more I learn about mice and rats, they can have societies, they have hierarchies, they have families, they have feelings. People keep them as pets. I know people that have kept rats as pets, and I thought that when I made the kissing sound, their ears move in a way that suggested maybe it hurt them. But I don't understand that because it sounded kind of like the frequency of the squeaks that they make. And if they're squeaking at each other, that wouldn't hurt each other's ears. So how come my imitating the frequency that they're making would make them uncomfortable? Does it sound too much like a curse word or something? I don't know. I'm ascribing more intelligence to this animal than it's capable of, but I'm trying to meet it halfway here. I'm trying to show that, hey, I'm not like every other human in my house that will scream, will shake a broom at you. My mother will use her cane and hit it at the mice. Say a mouse is nibbling on some baked goods that I got from ShopRite Day, where, and a lot of the stuff I can't put in the refrigerator anymore. Plus, the refrigerator, it's one of these self cleaning kind of refrigerators that always has water dripping down both sides. And so you can't have anything on there that doesn't have a tight waterproof seal. And it's so disgusting. That refrigerator needs to be hazmated out of here. It is fucking disgusting. I hate to go in there because I don't want my hair touching anything. You know, a lot of times I like to just have my hair up to be cool and comfortable. But then again, it doesn't look good if I'm filming, and so it's easier if the humidity's not too killer. I like to have it down. I'm still working on untangling it from, it was in my cornrow braids for 5 months, and it really started to dread up, and I loved, I love the big hair look. But I got caught in the rain a couple of times. Saturday, I wanted to meet up with the people at that park on South Carolina Avenue. They got different churches that feed different things, but it's, I guess, different people every week. And my favorites are the people from Ocean City that come with the cup of noodles and the coffee. And sometimes people play guitar. And that's the thing is, the last time I was there, I was playing guitar, and I was waiting in a line, and I was strumming chords while I was in line. Because when you have a guitar around your neck, when you're a guitar player and your guitar is right there, sometimes you're always playing. It's a reflex. It's a guitar player thing. Any musical person does that. People with harmonicas, they do it too. Now that gets annoying. Maybe I'm saying that because I only tried playing harmonica once and I couldn't figure it out. But harmonica, a little goes a long way. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, it's an extra skill to add to a song, but it just, and done well, you can do it very wonderfully. Stevie Wonder, oh my God, him and Say Yeah. You want to think of what I think is some of the best harmonica playing that I could think of that I heard. It wasn't overdone. It was good. It was catchy. Um, a lot of people just overdo it, and if you're drinking too much, definitely you're overdoing it. And Fuzzy, yes, dude, I'm talking to you. Stop doing speed, man. You know, and watch who you stay with. Some of those people are crazy. If you know, you know. See, I don't bullshit. Unless I have to save my life, I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna, and even then, I'm not gonna mislead you. Unless YouTube says that I have to keep from getting kicked off. That's the thing. We are not allowed to tell the truth on YouTube. See, I wonder if I made a song about that, could I say those things? Or is it still just, I mean, think of all the music videos that are on YouTube. Do they say that certain song lyrics, other rap songs, is there anything they sing about? They get kicked off? Can any rappers lose their channels because their words are wrong? You know, I don't know. When I was still more active on MySpace. There was a guy that had a channel. It was called Political Songs, and he wrote songs about the current presidential candidates of the day, and a lot of them were songs about Barack Obama and how bad he was for the country. And it was this one guy and original songs and original lyrics. He wasn't a parodist or anything, and I liked his words, and they were all pretty much parroting the Fox News Channel talking points, but they were songs that were catchy to the people that they were dedicated to. It was a small market music dedicated only to the half of the country that agreed with the words. You know how there's lots of people who the main thing they like about a music is its message. Take born again Christians, for instance. They love religious music. And because they want to reach as wide an audience as possible, they will have music that is all kinds of genres, from the classical music, the hallelujah incorporated into masses and different kind of church services, to now they have Christian rap that for all intents and purposes would be indistinguishable from any other hip hop, with the rhymes and the uh, uh, rhythms and the kind of sampling type, whatever the techniques are used, and scratching and all different things, that if I didn't hear the Bible and the talking about Jesus and the talking about these concepts of bettering oneself, it would not be any different than the bust a cap up my ass and what's this cuz and I'm about to hit you, and different things. They are, I understand, wanting to reach an audience that might not be attracted to the message if it was cloaked in something that they get related to. I understand that, you know. Uh, but I remember back when I was going to these punk rock gigs, these all ages gigs, growing up here in town, and they could never hold them out because of the insurance. But people were sneaking alcohol into Elks Lodges and VFWs and Knights of Columbus rooms up and down Atlantic Avenue and different places, and on the mainland, different places. And all these different punk rock bands would play, and the flyers would have skulls and spikes and studs and stuff, which things that were indistinguishable from the heavy metal of the 80s, certain style commonalities. And I was really into the leather and studs. Arthur Fonzarelli, aka Fonzie of Happy Days, was one of my style icons and also masculine alter egos. Him and also Paul Revere of the Revolutionary War era was one of my internalized alter egos. I used to write graffiti in high school about Paul Revere in the Spirit of 76, and I would use a red and blue ink. And yeah, it was cool until people started to find out it was me. And I also started experimenting. I had bleach blonde hair, and I would mix food coloring with hair conditioner, and I would put it in my hair, and that was semi-permanent hair color. That was not too different than the real hair color that I learned how to use when I actually went to beauty school after I graduated high school. So, but growing up here and having going to those all ages clubs. And the first one I went to, I thought was going to be metal bands, and it turned out to be punk bands. And I learned about slam dancing, which later learned became to be called moshing. It was a much gentler thing then. Even though people were swinging their fists when they were doing it, if somebody fell down, people in the pit picked them up. There was not the violence that I see now, and it was not the situations where, say, you go to watch a band and you want to get up close and see the faces of the band members. For a lot of people, it's a real thrill to get to see up close the people who you've only heard their records, or maybe you never got to see what they look like, or maybe you have seen their videos and they're good looking and you want to get a good look at the drummer, the bassist, the guitarist, whatever. And so you get up close. And if you're going to have a pit real close to the stage where people are going to get hurt, hit in the back when they're trying to look at the cute person and they're getting punched in the back or kicked, or, because you don't have eyes in the back of your head. I really like it when they actually have cages for the slam pits. They're now called mosh pits. I don't know when it went from slamming to moshing, but to me, it'll always be slam dancing. But it was less violent, I think, speaking as a female, and I am conscious of the differences, I guess it must be navigating the world, both being a female, knowing that I am internal, I am vulnerable, I am smaller. Uh, I don't know if a tall, fat person who's also female, how they would relate to that, because you feel the internal bit, but yet you don't feel the smaller bit, but yet we generally rarely can defend ourselves against men of the same size because we don't have the muscles. Is the point I'm getting. Uh God's God's you. Oh, what day is that? And what's the cover charge? And can I get in on the guest list? Because that's the thing is, because of this certain cop on the 4 to 12 shift, I stopped being seen on the boardwalk for a while. I didn't come out until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. By then, most of the people were gone. My friends were gone, except for the people that were really drunk. Could not find anybody. Well, except Batman. I see Batman a lot. He's a good dude. And he goes to Anchor Rock Club sometimes. I have not been to the beach rave yet because they had signs advertising the dates. I think Krita took them down. Whatever was in, I saw something in the window saying text something for more information. Guess what? The cell phone I have is so dinosaur, it would not make any sense for me to get a plan for it because it just doesn't work for anything. So it's useless. You know, Wednesday, third. Oh, okay, $30. Damn. Hmm. That seems like an awful lot of money for me to go to a show where it's a big unknown factor. Is there any chance I could get on a guest list on that? And I don't want to call myself media like I'm some stuck up whatever, but fact of the matter is, September 4th will make me 12 years exactly that I will have been on YouTube. I really thought that I was going to have my channel yanked before then, because they keep on finding old videos that I did where I was doing news commentary, and they'd say, "Oh, you talked about things you weren't supposed to," and I would appeal the decision, but then they would say, "I'm sorry, you lost the appeal," and oh, thank you. How early should I get there? I guess the doors open what 9, 10 o'clock, something like that. Wednesday, September the 13th. Uh, Wednesday. You know what? Because my brain is such a sieve, I'm gonna go and find my calendar and I'm gonna write it down. That's the only way I remember anything. Pen and paper rules. Oh, my calendar. Got my calendar. I got shitty ass weed. I mean, who refuses to smoke out of a pipe just because he thinks it looks like a dick? Some insecure man who's got homophobic issues. That's who. He was just mad because some drunk guy made it past him last night and the guy freaked out. And it's like, you don't have to get violently threatening somebody just because they make a rude pass at you. You can be aggressive without, it's not like if they're 3 times your size. With women, it's different because it's usually a guy and he's usually way, 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 way bigger. And, they won't leave you alone and stuff. Yeah, what do I do when somebody doesn't leave me alone? Well, I found my cord. I'm going to put the cord back on my computer. I'm going to find a pen. Oh, yeah. I don't write this down. At least they're not having it on the 11th. I really am bothered when they have non-patriotic events happening on September 11th. I understand life goes on, and I understand there's people alive today that weren't even alive when that happened, but still, it's sort of like when Pearl Harbor's anniversary comes around every year. It doesn't freak me out, but I know somebody whose birthday is that day, and he's like in his 80s, maybe his early 90s. I don't know, but for some people, Pearl Harbor is still the never forget day. Just like for some people, the anniversary of the Holocaust. If you turn on certain TV networks like JLTV, they'll have memories show every year. And I totally support that. You shouldn't forget atrocities, things. But I noticed with 9/11, with certain historic things, life truly does go on. That I just, 9/11 will never for me be a day to party. I feel bad for the people that's their birthday. Because for me, my birthday is really special. Because my birthday happens to be right after Halloween and right after the Day of the Dead. And then people are thinking they're taking down their Halloween decorations and they're thinking about Thanksgiving and maybe even Christmas. So if I have done anything at all for Halloween, then a lot of times my birthday becomes an afterthought. And by the time my birthday rolls around, it's starting to get chilly. There's nothing to do. Oh, Hurricane Sandy. When Hurricane Sandy came to New Jersey, our governor decided to close all the bridges getting into town. So I wasn't able to be okay. This will be a very cool show. Large projections, very well respected band. Okay, should be intense. Doors open at 8. I just found a pair of clean head earplugs in plastic and set them aside. That's groovy. I'm gonna get a pen because a lot of the stuff I have, I actually keep in my mother's room. I have so much clothes and stuff on my bed. I have like little room for me because I can't put them all in a bag just to put them someplace because then the dirty clothes are gonna make everything smell bad, and the mice will still get on them anyway. I know because they bite holes in the plastic, and then you see mouse turds. So it's easy to just have certain things on the bed, and yeah, if I could just start to bag up my things, and I do have a lot of things bagged, and I have things I could have things set aside someplace safe so they could absolutely stay clean, and I could keep on washing things, put them in something that's vermin proof, have things set aside. Because, I can't hang up any more things in my closet here because it's a wooden rod, and I'm afraid it's going to snap, and those clothes are going to fall on the ground. I would be so pissed off. I'm going to find a pen. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Yay. Yeah, these shoes, I love them. They're so bitchin', but they made me ache. I was literally practically hobbling by the time I got home. But I got so many compliments. And you know what? I should have worn them with like zebra stripes or that white skull and crossbones skirt. Okay. Um, the uh, and I noticed Batman gets in everywhere. Sometimes they do photo shoots with him and stuff, but he's amazing. He wears, even in the heat, hottest days of the sun, he wears all that stuff for his costume and then the cape on top of it and then the face mask. Can you imagine going through all that effort and just to be available for automatic photo ops because some family who's in town and the kids spot Batman, and if they're a black or brown family, they're really thrilled when the kids see a superhero that looks like them. They say, "Can I get a picture with Batman?" And he never turns down a photo op. You know, if you guys get pictures taken with Batman, please, if you have money, give him some money. He's a good guy, and he's not always treated well, and it makes me angry that some people will be mean to him. Doors 8. Ooh, and rock club. All right. Oh, oh, I love your name, synesthesiac. I have to say something about that. One of my goals is to record a couple albums where I play as many instruments as possible. And one of the things I want to do during the recording process, I would like to, depending on the key the song is on, I would like to set up a color code that every note, every musical note has a color associated with it. Kind of like I would imagine people with synesthesia, where they see their senses are mixed up. They can taste colors or they see color, sounds have flavors or the different things. I would like to imagine that every color on the spectrum of the rainbow has a musical note associated with it. But I would also like to imagine it's a spectrum just like a rainbow, just like the scale, and it would make sense. And everything corresponds, the color and the note corresponds. And so, say a key is whatever it is, the color would be whatever it is. And say the color would be chartreuse, is the color G, and songs in G. So I would have a chartreuse, and I would have that just in the top margins. And say when I'm doing my recording sessions, I would also, just for the fun of it, like to have some video, because who doesn't like to have video footage of the recording of that you would use? Maybe you would incorporate it into that video, or maybe you would have, footage for the making of the Leather Rock's first video, rock, something like that. So you would have all these colors of the key that the song is in. I would like to also 3D construct a song where you allow for the beats per minute, the key the song's in, any possible variations in rhythm, also the information about the parts of the electric guitar, acoustic guitar, rhythm guitar, bass, um, if there's violin, what are those parts? Just all the things that would construct that song and say have it in a 3D representational form, which of course I would own the patent on. I mean, I have all these ideas that are fueled on nothing stronger than some ugly looking dirt ass weed that uh, Cunty Fuck Bob says is good stuff. It looks and smells kind of nasty. Matter of fact, I want to close my door because I don't think it smells good. I mean, it doesn't smell bad, you know. No weed smells bad, but and it doesn't smell like tobacco in the way that what weed does. But it's not, doesn't have a pretty color. It's like that black brown color. Uh, uh, outer space visual communicator. Oh man. Uh, oh, did you see the new crystals I was given yesterday? Maybe you guys can help me identify one of them, because things like amethyst are easy to identify. Gives me this bag, and okay, first one, the rose quartz. Everybody knows what rose quartz is. All right, now, and this is amethyst. Everybody knows what a rock with amethyst in it looks like. Okay, now this is what was confusing me. All right, the third rock. This looks like it has a little bit of amethyst, but other aspects that look like it might be in obsidian. Now, somebody here tell me what you think. I really wish you wouldn't take things down that you typed. Sometimes I wanted to write things down so I don't forget. And I wrote down what I needed to for the calendar. Thank you for the information. But that other stuff, um, I didn't get enough time to process it because don't have a lot of sleep, and um, I'm inundating my brain cells with some THC. But so, do you think this is obsidian that this amethyst is in? But yeah, I wish people would not redact your stuff, because I mean, if you want me to know something, you know, um, it's not like 30 years ago when my brain was a little bit quicker to process information. I killed a lot of brain cells since then. And sometimes I'll look at things and then because I have other things on my mind, because I'm still stressed out about what YouTube's trying to do, trying to shut me down. They find old videos, they say, oh, you said this about this forbidden concept. It's almost like you're being punished for even thinking things that you're not, society doesn't want you to think, because it somehow is a threat to society at large. That's what it is. We are not allowed to express certain thoughts or to even give evidence that we have certain thoughts, because that would potentially pose us as a threat to society at large. Or if not society at large, at least some money making organizations that don't want to be affected. And that is why so many of us get censored and canceled. That just sucks, man. Speaking of fish, I wish fish had come back this year. I really enjoyed the atmosphere. I enjoyed the kind of people, the quality of humans, and sometimes animals that were here. I made friends there. I do regret that a lot of the stickers that people gave me, they had those QR codes on. I never found out what they were about. I put them in this purse that I had that unfortunately I left up in front of the steps of the Ocean Casino. And I went to do a turnaround to do a video, and I didn't want to be carrying the purse on my arm for the turnaround. So I set it on the steps like an idiot. And I did a turnaround and I kept on going. And then all of a sudden I realized that I left the purse. I ran, and that fast the purse was taken. So anything that people gave me, including a whole bunch of roaches that I had a pouch attached to this was a tote bag that was fake leather, pink, hot pink, pale pink on one side, black on the other, fake snake. And anyway, it was taken. I checked all the trash cans around there. There was so many fat roaches in the pouch, and my expired non-driver ID was in it with my face rubbed off because it was so old that everything was rubbed off it. But I had my house keys and the charger to the tablet that I ultimately lost. So yeah, that was the one thing that was happened the last day of fish, and that really bummed me out. And I'm sure that was some local scumbag, but still, you got to realize that you're dealing with people's property and stuff. At least make it so their person, their items of, the whatever money he stood to take out of there. And I don't know if there was any money. This was just before I got that guitar, so I didn't have any tip money in there. I wasn't in the habit of carrying money around. I don't carry money around unless I'm going shopping or unless I just got paid. I don't generally have reasons to carry money around. Money in your pocket when you don't really have reason to have money in your pocket, that's too much of a temptation, both for you to spend it irresponsibly or for somebody to rob you. You know, I pick up pennies in the street. Yeah, I might be found having some pennies if I found, sometimes people leave small piles of pennies. Sometimes I'll find a nickel or a dime. Damn right I'll pick it up. Sometimes I'll find money on a dance floor. I'll pick it up. Damn right. Let the money go to waste. Money's money. Money's good. You know, people will poo poo the small change when they need it and there's some exact change thing, or without it, you can't pass, or you need to make a phone call. Any payphones where you live? Oh, I hate it when places don't have payphone. Last time, I have a person I consider my BFF. Um, Even though I don't talk to her for months at a time because she's got so many things. When you deal with a spouse that has a serious health issue, that takes up a lot of time. I can't even imagine, but she was somebody that always had a place to live when I was homeless a lot of times and I was living on the street, and occasionally, you need to catch your breath and take a shower. Get a damn shower, you know, and eat food that's not from a soup kitchen, and get out of the public. When you're on the street, you're kind of always in the public thing. Even though, once I started being a movie extra, you're not in the public thing because you're actually working. When you're a dancer, you're not in the public thing because you're indoors dancing someplace. Most of my homeless experience when I was in Los Angeles, nobody ever knew. Because I was either squatting, so if you didn't see me coming in or out, you didn't know. Or I was sleeping in my car. Not too many people knew that. I was so afraid of people in the clubs knowing that I found a parking lot and found a place to sleep in the night. That was like one of the things that I was deeply afraid of. I remember one really mean girl saying to me in the Rainbow Bar and Go parking lot, "Do your friends know that you sleep in your car?" I mean, I thought that she was threatening to out me for that. That was a big fear. You didn't mix your sleep, son. This was before the internet. They didn't have a way for people to get all up in your business. That didn't have any ways to know if you were personally living it, you wouldn't know. Like the starving actors, yes, that was definitely a thing. Actors sleeping in their cars was definitely not an unknown thing. And I'm sure with the musicians, it was probably true too. But I was not playing guitar in those days. I was still working on growing my fingernails and stuff. And I saw myself as a poet and as a writer and an analyst. And I wrote analytical essays and I kept journals. And I love to write about concepts. And I like to do speed, yes. And speed kind of fueled my writing. And I just love to analyze things. Naturally, I love to analyze. That's just naturally who I am, and it's fun. I like getting into the details. I like when I'm shopping for something like a new computer, for instance. I like to learn about what's the best specs, and then boil it down to what seems to be the best. And then if a well-respected uh, journalism thing, like a fancy paper, has an ad says, "Oh, this has won the awards. This is the best." I bought my first computer based on a computer magazine that I bought at Port Authority, New York City. I mean, for years I did my research, and I ended up with the most expensive computer. One of the most expensive computers it probably was at the time, aside from the so-called gaming computers. I figured this would be a computer that I would learn from. I didn't realize that you don't know how long something is going to last. In order to, how much time are you going to have to learn things before it no longer works. And that's the thing. Its webcam only worked one time. I got to take one measly, not well lit picture with this webcam. I never learned to do video with it. When I first got a computer, it was 2007. So, and it took a while for me to get up my nerve to go on YouTube. My first YouTube video wasn't even showing my face. I was playing with my cat, Tabby Boy. Tabby Boy loves his box. That was, I think, one of my first videos. On the Odin's Backlash channel, I filmed a couple of videos in New York City with a digital camera that I couldn't even ever get ads on because one of them is part of the Billy Joel song "New York State of Mind," and it's showing a close up of one of the Times Square balls. It's all they're all covered with lights, and the lights change colors, like every color of the rainbow. And I was just filming the lights changing colors and stuff. And yeah, there's only like 2 videos on that channel, and it's like it doesn't mean anything to me really. And the thing is, if YouTube kicked me off of here, I wouldn't be allowed to post on there. So I can't violate any terms of service. I can't like go under the alias of the purple asshole or something. And plus, I want to keep my name out there. What I can do though is other YouTubers can feature me on their channels and keep me sight of mind. And like, oh, I'm back on Facebook, even though guess what? I just have a link to Facebook because it's in Windows. I still don't know what the password is. I didn't make any public posts on there because I still feel like I was kicked in the ass when I dropped out of sight and nobody said anything. And now I don't want to go back into Messenger and talk to people because I don't feel I need to go through, oh, hi, this is what happened. I don't want to go through all that. Most people weren't curious enough to check up on me to find out how I was. And a person is not that hard to track down. Really. People, I know it takes a lot of effort. I'd like to think I'm worth it. If I meant enough to somebody, unless, of course, you wanted to do me harm, anybody could find out that, well, I know her living situation. So I can call this person's phone number or that person's phone number, who I can maybe get information as to is she there and maybe get put on the phone. Or I could find out through a mutual friend, this is her last known location, and a doorbell could be one. Never happened. Snail mail, excuse me, never happened. No inquiries except for somebody who is a friend of my mother's, but they're talking on the phone. But nobody, and then she asked my mother how I was, and my mother just basically said she's okay. She's just upset over YouTube, but she's okay. And that's all that she said. My mother figures that to give people too much information, they worry, or she just thinks it's too much information, or she thinks I'm talking about family stuff. It's like, believe me, nobody's interested in family bullshit. And I'm not interested in talking about family bullshit. What I am interested in, though, is talking about my life in a vlog type manner because I think that could be fun to whatever segment of the population finds vlogs and real life kind of shit interesting. I mean, okay, I like to watch some of the stuff on TLC that they claim is not scripted, they claim is real life, but may or may not be manipulated for effect. I don't know, like some of those romance things. But I like the 90-day shows. I like the ones showing there are people that go and they get matchmakers in different countries and they go on these dates and you learn how people in different cultures how they interact and what their customs are and when they have strict family ties, how real restricted they are. It made me really be grateful. First of all, grateful that I lived when Roe v. Wade still existed. So I was able to be a righteous old slut when I was. I'm never going to be ashamed for that. I'm grateful to have been born in America and to be female at a time that was probably the safest time to be female and probably the safest place or one of the safest places for lots of reasons. Partly because we didn't have as much crazy immigration. And I'm sorry, I know it sounds a little harsh, but there has been more violence with more unchecked immigration. That's just a fact. Just more exposure to psychopaths in general, all kinds of things. A lot of things that Trump said were true. You but I'm so lucky to have been female during the time I had Roe. I had access to Planned Parenthood. I had the means to go from this little town to Los Angeles, got to hang out in the same air that major celebrities did. I got to dance. I got to have fun. I got to, yes, experiment with drugs. I did more than experimentation. I got to get laid. I got to do lots of things. I rarely was in situations where I thought there were crossroads where had choices that bordered on, oh, the easy way out might make you compromise. I never had to deal with that. I'm very grateful for what I did have to deal with. Yes, it would have been easier in some ways if I had made certain more compromises, but I never, ever thought that to be a temptation. Maybe if my body was different and I had a Playboy type body, maybe I may have been tempted to go visit the Playboy mansion. Maybe I would have gotten those kind of offers. I don't know. Because I didn't have that kind of body, I didn't have people coming up to me saying, oh, I think you would be perfect for this or whatever. I didn't get that kind of bullshit. So I am grateful for that. Sometimes being different has its blessings, but growing up, I always felt different, and sometimes I felt like there was something wrong with me, and I couldn't put a handle on it. And this was before they had the child study teams where they would take the kids sometimes without the parents even knowing, and they would have them analyzed and try to see if there was anything underneath the current US, whatever the mental health thing where you diagnose people with things. They're doing things where every other person here, they say, has a developmental disability or has something under the mental health thing or whatever. They're putting labels on people, which I don't think is fair. And half the time, I don't think is even right. When I was using all that speed in Hollywood, I had people who I don't think they had a medical degree try to tell me they thought that I was bipolar. I finally came up to this chick. She was one of the people in this dance club I danced with, who had a real raunchy show, by the way. Anna Slade. I said, honey, I'm not bipolar, what they call manic depression then. I'm just on drugs. I was on amphetamines. Amphetamines, you have the highs when you're on it. And then when you come down, you have much less of a personality. Some people are kind of grumpy. Some people are a little depressed. It's more of a grump thing. It's a cocaine that makes people more depressed. And the thing with speed is because you actually don't eat or sleep on it, you also have a sleep deprivation on it. So so there's this come down thing. And being that I am a female and I've always been a female, for me, speed was always very much like normal hormone fluctuations of a human female. So that's part of why I thought speed was pretty cool and interesting. And I enjoyed it for as long as I did before I finally stopped. And I've been clean since around 9/11. Okay. I'm not tempted by it. It's not something that's in my life, but I had my fun when I had it. And it seemed very organic to me because it felt very much like hormone fluctuations. But to an untrained person that would see those fluctuations in my mood, it would be easy to say, oh, this person, she's got that manic depression or something. No, it's you see a person when they're on speed, they're happy, they're more energetic, and you see a person when they're crashing, they're coming down, or even like when I was burned out from I come home from playing guitar last night, I wasn't doing any drugs. I was smoking weed, yes, but I was also kind of tired because it'd been a long day, and I was dealing with the energies of all these different people that were out there. I finally got that shower and I felt that I so deserved. I got all the yucky energies of that guy that I felt that I had to hug the other night. I resent that. If I could do it differently, I wouldn't have hugged him. I felt so pressured to be like, if I do this, if I pretend that I know you and look you in the eye, then we leave me the hell alone. I know. And I know it made it look like anybody who saw it, anybody that walked around would have thought that I knew him. In the future, sometimes I want you to know, sometimes you hug people just because of safety. It's not always, if you later on keep on seeing a person hanging out with somebody, then you can safely assume, yes, it must be a buddy. But sometimes if you're watching people, you see somebody hug something, gotta really know more subtext. You gotta know more about it because we as women, we are more vulnerable. And you want to be left alone. You're out in the open space where you're vulnerable all around you. You have to hang out there because if you're making money, you're standing out there. I'm with my guitar, I'm standing out there, my hat's here. I don't want people to be encroaching on my personal space, making me feel that they would touch me, that they would take my money pouch, take my hat. And people sometimes try to take our hats. So I was trying to appease this man so he would just go down the road. He said he was going to a liquor store. He said he had a room at the Tropicana Casino. He's offered me a whole laundry list of drugs that he was willing to get me. And I said, I'm not interested in any of that stuff. When it's a person says Tina, when I was doing amphetamines, we didn't call it Tina then. At least I don't know people who did. But anyway, yeah. Uh, I just sometimes you just want people to just go away, leave you the fuck alone, and they won't take no for an answer. That's the thing is you don't understand. They won't take no for an answer. Maybe if I had something that looked like a cell phone, then I could pick up and I could say, okay, look, do I have to fucking call? But then, depending on what it is, I'm afraid the person might take it out of your hand. Or what if they actually had a weapon and I didn't know that? That's the equalizer. So many people turned out they have knives. What if this person had a gun? I don't know. I don't know this guy. He had gangster trash written all over him. His face looked like he's been in a number of fights and he doesn't care if he gets in another one. He didn't look like somebody that I would want to mess with. I don't want to mess with anybody. I don't want to ever be in danger, but I want somebody to back the hell off. And when you say, go away, leave me alone, go, this is my job here. This is my livelihood. Leave me the fuck alone. Then he said, I'll destroy you. I'll make sure nobody gives you any money. I think, what the fuck? Men always like to do that. One thing I notice that men do, they always do to women, I'll make sure that you don't have a livelihood. I'll destroy you. I mean, such big words, such big, powerful words, big fear, intimidate words that men use. I mean, this is just, how do you think this makes us chicks feel? To you men, if you're going to be on this, I'm telling you. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure there's things I forgot. I got in and I went to sleep, and there's certain places that people go to for food. I'm not going to say the particular name of the place, but it's closed all next week, so you guys, you're not going to find any food there. So I am going to hopefully. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to rain today or not, but I would like to play guitar again today, and I hope I don't have any problems with any police. And if anybody has a spare G string, find me. I'm sure they're going to have entertainment over there again, so I'm probably going to be in that cubby hole just before it. There's lots of cubby holes. Where that one-legged electric guitar guy used to play. Now, I heard he was in Ocean City. I don't know if he's still there. I don't know if they make you get licenses there or what the situation is. Maybe if you're making enough money there that it's worth it taking the bus to and from Atlantic City all the time. For me, I would like my overhead to be as little as possible. To me, the overhead seems to be broken guitar strings. That is the main, excuse me, expense. I am burping something. It's probably all weed smoke, huh? Oh, man. It's overcast out there. I don't know. It looks like it's going to do something. Uh, it's 76 degrees. It says it's cloudy. I don't have the Weather Channel on now. I have Fox News Channel on. But no, I do have the Weather Channel on. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn the screen so I can see it from where I'm at. And when it says what it's going to do, I'll find out. Yeah. If it's going to rain hard, including thunderstorms, then I won't try it. But I'm glad I took the chance to hang out. And when it rained, I just went where all the people went. And But it stopped being fun hanging out with Bob, cunty fuck guy. Once he said that my playing that song was taunting the people that were sleeping there. First of all, I wasn't playing loud enough that they could have heard. If I know that people are sleeping, I am not going to be playing music to keep them up. I am not an asshole. Okay? That's one of the things that I keep on bringing up, Fuzzy. When people were sleeping on top of the stage, and you could see them because they had sleeping bags and they were right there on top of the stage. He would be up against the stage, get his guitar out, and start singing and playing. Sometimes break out his harmonica. People are fucking sleepy, dude. That's not cool. What I'm doing, I'm playing with a pick. Even if I'm singing, I'm playing quiet enough. Even if I'm trying to be heard, you're not going to hear me all the way over there because people have complained you can't really be heard. And if I'm breaking strings, I might be pressing on my strings too loudly. So I definitely don't want to break more strings. Even though if I break strings that I can replace, you know, uh, but yeah. So why would I be playing where I would be waking people up? And so he's saying I'm taunting people. And I realized that he's too drunk to be appreciating what I was doing. And I gave him a little bit of the weed I had because I really wanted to share it with him. But I was thinking, if you're as drunk as you are, how can you fully appreciate the weed that I'm sharing with you? Really? When I was drinking, I'm sorry, I could not fully appreciate things. Honestly, I couldn't fully appreciate things because I was really numb. I was really insulated. I was so in the moment with. And then a lot of times I would feel like throwing up. I was a vomiter when I was a drinker, and I was usually in public outside someplace. And when you're out walking around the gutter, it's easy to find a storm drain or something, or a gutter or something. And throwing up is good because if you're drinking things that are like straight shots or whatever, on an empty stomach or whatever, you don't want to get alcohol poisoning. You want to throw that stuff up. Vomiting is good; gets poisons out of you. So yeah, and one time I got drunk on red wine, friend's house in New York City. He had a Dalmatian, and those dogs could be kind of temperamental apparently. And I got sick on that red wine, weaving, wobbling, sick. And the dog had a dog bed in this closet, nice walk-in closet. It was a pretty spacious apartment for when you think of New York City apartments. It was in Chelsea, and it had a loft for his bed, but it had enough space that uh, I actually upchucked, I regurgitated, I tossed cookies, red wine cookies on this poor dog's bed. And you think of Dalmatians, you think of the fire dogs, the white dogs with black spots. Oh, a pretty dog, yeah. They they'll be barking and they'll be biting and snapping and didn't have much of a sense of humor that I'm barfing on his bed. And I was too drunk to have social, the emotional intelligence to realize that I'd offended this intelligent canine. I was lucky that I didn't get hurt. I don't think he would have consented to letting the dog do more than nibble, But and I hope I cleaned up after myself. I don't remember. The year was like 19 early 80. It was in the 80s. It was when I was coming to the East Coast for Christmas vacation, but I was living in Los Angeles full time. It was when I still flew in airplanes, and I don't like to fly. You know, I don't like turbulence. I think it's just scary to be you're you have no control and it bounces around and stuff. And turbulence is so uncomfortable and it's traumatizing to me. And before, my dad used to send me with a bottle of vodka so that I could get drunk. And that time that I was given the what pill was that? Uh, oh, not Clonopin. It was something that my mom took that she hallucinated on. But things that you should not drink on. Don't drink on pills. Period. It might if you don't get some kind of poisoning or you don't have your central nervous system totally shut down, you could end up uh, having all kinds of poisonings happen to yourself. You could, uh, one time I drank heavily and took some kind of a pain pill, and I felt very, 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 very depressed. This was at a party in Brigantine, New Jersey, where I was still in high school. And painkillers are downers. Alcohol is a downer. That is, some people fall asleep and never wake up. That's very dangerous. People do stupid things when they're experimenting. And bottom line, I think alcohol you should just leave alone. In those days, you didn't leave things alone. And yeah, but all right. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me see what time it is. It's 10:39. I think I'm going to take a chance of getting lunch. You know what? It's not like I did an all nighter. I actually did get a little bit of sleep. But I want to be able to play guitar today, and I want to be able to go to lunch. So I will get things done during the daytime. But yeah, anybody runs into me, I might have some extra baked goods. I didn't bring anything with me out there because I didn't want anything to get wet from the rain. Plus, the people that were drunk, they weren't too appreciative anyway. I was thinking, should I have brought some pumpkin donuts? Which, if I had more room in the freezer, I'd freeze some of them. My mother and I love pumpkin donuts, pumpkin muffins. I had a bunch of packages of pumpkin coffee. One of the 7-Elevens went out of business, and they were selling all their big packages, the 12-ounce packages of ground coffee. They were selling them all for $1, and half of them were pumpkin flavored, and some of them were blueberry flavored. That was a little slightly cough syrupy. I love blueberries. Oh gosh, I love blueberries. But yeah, in coffee form, that's a little different. But it was $1 each. I will get a package of coffee for $1. Damn right. There used to be this farmer's almanac general store, Tropicana, and they would get these 50 cent off, 50% off, 75% off sales, and they would sell like the holiday merchandise, and you would get the flavored coffees all. But I love chocolate flavored coffee, and I love hazelnut flavored coffee. But I noticed that the dollar stores you get hazelnut flavored coffee. The instant coffee's fine, but the ground coffee that was a hazelnut flavor, I noticed it had a plastic flavor to it. It was actually so bad that I had to stop making it. Um, I ended up giving it away to somebody that I couldn't stand. I know it sounds like it's a nasty thing to do, but you know what? If I can't stand you, there might be a legitimate reason for that. And if part of the reason why I can't stand you for stand somebody isn't just because they're stupid or they're crazy, because those things can't be helped. But if I can't stand you because you have actively done things to harm me and mine, and you're just really mean to me, and you have tried to hurt me, and you have hurt me, then I think a little not niceness is definitely not uncalled for. I'm not going to turn the other cheek to somebody that's a total scumbag to me, that's deprived me of a livelihood, that's stolen good money from me or whatever. I'm not going to just say that's okay, especially when I can deal with it. And fuck it. If you made my life miserable, sure, I'll give you my nasty coffee. Just like if I ever get chased at Sanborn again. Oh my God, I remember it was on sale for 99 cents one time at Rite Aid. I said, okay, I'll get that. Chase at Sanborn. I mean, that's a coffee company. It's been around for a long time. It has the old guys with beards on the cover. Oh my God, that was a nasty coffee. I'm sorry. Wake up to Chase at Sanborn. Maybe at one time it was good. Oh, that was not good coffee. Just like there's this coffee that was labeled as premium. It was packaged like tea bags, and it was in a box, looked like a tea box. And it probably had a little bit of instant coffee in it, but it had ground coffee in it. And it was tasted like it was burnt. It tasted nasty. Oh, it was not good. My sinuses are really fucked up. Pardon me. I'm so sorry. I can't breathe if I don't do that. Uh, okay, now I'm looking at the weather channel right now. Okay, for Cape May, it says 7 p.m. It's supposed to be thunderstorming. Tonight's supposed to be thunderstorming. Oh, but it says scattered. Now, scattered thunderstorms doesn't mean a damn thing because scattered could be. You look at the radar, you see these wispies. You don't get any precipitation or maybe a couple of drops or a little mist for about 2 minutes and then nothing. It looks like nothing but wispies on radar, but do you realize that what's a tiny dot could actually be a cloud that could be the size of a city block? But I didn't see any orange, which I think would indicate lightning. I never saw any flashes that I could tell from the boardwalk light show ads and stuff. There was a wind that was picking up consistent with maybe something's around. My hat actually blew around sometimes. I had to watch the money. I had to watch the one time the umbrella blew off the cart and I had to adjust it. But no, it says that there's going to be supposed to be thunderstorms tonight, but it's just scattered. And again, I wasn't planning on making a late night tonight, unless I'm having one of these fun adventures. Like every time I move another place, I end up being rewarded for it. Like I started playing one place, and then somebody they made a point of showing me what it was and then sending it down, and it wasn't a $1 bill. I mean, it wasn't 100, mind you. And the only 100 I ever saw was a fake one. You know, but when a person gets your attention and lets you know, or sometimes they'll just hand it to you so that you can put it where you usually put them. But and then I saw there was somebody who was begging for money, but there was one person who legitimately did have a need for $1 because I forget what was going on with him, but he needed something to get on the bus or something to get back to Pleasantville or something, or even but that might have been a bullshit too. 'Cause that's the thing is, I was scammed once by a friend, and it really hurt. It really affected our relationship because even though we never talked about it, I remember this, and I will talk to you about it. Her name was Shirley, and when I met her, she was a little old lady, and she passed away a couple years before the pandemic. I believe she died. Well, I knew her from the boardwalk. She had this platonic male friend that I think she had a crush on, but I think he was gay, and I think his name was Steve. And he wore glasses, and sometimes he wore a suit or at least a suit pants, maybe a short sleeve shirt, and he brushed his hair, and he had attractive gray hair, and he spoke like a gentleman. And she was kind. She was like she reminded me, she was the kind of person that she always wanted me to let my mother know that she loved me and that she wanted my mother to know that there were people here in the Atlantic City Boardwalk who looked after me and cared for me, and to make my mom and dad feel good. And, that's good to know that there's people who want to be part of your backup and that want your family to know about you, even though my mother was always, I don't want to say bedridden, but ridden, housebound. My mother does not go for walks. You know how many times I wanted to take her out, even yeah, when all those people were alive, I wanted to take my mom out, just up even as far as just around between different casinos and stuff. And but my mom, she didn't have the fancy walker that she has now that has the chair built in. If she had had that walker with a chair in it, then when she got tired, she didn't have to worry about if there was an empty bench. She could just sit on her walker. She has this walker now that has this pad seat that you could lift it up and you could store some things in it. She keeps gloves and face masks because she's real vigilant about the face masks still. She might want to wear a face mask to take a walk outside right now. And unless, okay, you're dealing with the wildfire smoke, that was a time when I was wearing a mask when it was bad out here when I actually took a day off of playing guitar because it was smoky. It hadn't occurred to me that there would be money to be made playing behind a mask where you would have to struggle to be heard, you know. And you have to put an effort to struggle to play guitar to be heard. And now, if you're singing, you have to think about I am singing and I'm playing guitar, and singing when I don't have to be playing over guitar is one thing because I don't have a powerful voice. And I was struggling to be heard playing guitar without breaking strings. Add singing on top of it, you don't want one to overpower the other. And plus, if you're trying to sing louder than you're capable of, it's going to sound worse, not better. And I don't love my voice. I really don't. Sometimes I think I have a range between B. Arthur and Jim Morrison. I don't think most people want that in a chick. But you know what? That does mean though that there's a lot of songs I can sing. But I'm not generally speaking trying to sing other people's songs. If I could score some, like if I could put on a ninja disguise and I could uh, be a dumpster diver in, say, guitar centers and music stores coast to coast and find some music books with tablature. And so for free, I can learn to play a bunch of songs. And now I know there's always the internet. Yes, I can go and find, but first of all, there's the individual time each song. There is the getting an earworm because you're probably going to be playing a video or something. And I would rather just take a look at the music, the charts, do it that way rather than hear it again and get earworms when I'm working on my own stuff. I really am trying to listen to as little music as possible because I would rather keep the melodies that I've been having in my head for the past 10 years, let's just say, that I didn't have a means to get it out. I didn't have musical instruments. It didn't occur to me to try singing in the webcam of whatever computer I had. Uh, I had ideas for, the chord progressions and lead lines and violin parts and bass things, and I didn't have any musical instruments to play them with. I did have the electric guitar, but I didn't have anything to play it out of. And you need to start out with you have to have musical instruments. Then you have to have means to play them. Then, um, having time to practice, having a little bit of a livelihood, which playing guitar outside is a livelihood. It kills two birds with one stone because it enables me to get practice in, build up my calluses. Now I'm starting to work with my voice, even though, of course, I haven't been doing vocal exercises and things. I'm probably doing a lot of wrong things because until recently, I never thought of myself as a singer. When I was in California, I never thought of myself as a singer. I remember being fired for auditions for singers for rock bands when I lived in San Francisco. And I thought that singing was one thing that I was not blessed with any gift for, even though I was in the freshman chorus in high school, and I know how to read music, but slowly, and I'm very out of practice because this is from my violin playing days in second and third grade. My mother had to teach me how to read music so I could keep up with my class because I had slipped on a patch of ice. I was playing ice skater. The one little patch of ice in the schoolyard, I had to find it. And I broke my arm in two places here. So as a result, I wasn't able to play violin for a while. And my mother had to teach me some basics of sight reading. And every now and then I put that to use. But for the most part, I can't say that I'm in practice. And I'm telling you what I am reading and watching about with music theory. It's very mathematical, and it's some of it is overwhelmingly, dauntingly intimidating. Some of the concepts are right now. I'm not there yet. I will be the first to say to you, half the times when people stop me, they ask me to play things that I don't know how to play. But if I get the tabs, at least I could see that because either it'll say that the chord, I know what the chord is. They're the easy basic chords we all know. If it's a chord that's a variation on it, then it's the diagram right there. And that way I can play most things. If it's a bar chord, then we have a problem because I haven't gotten there yet. So, I gotta put this cover on the thing. It's 10:53. I'm being bombarded with these UV rays, and I do not have any sunblock on my face. Um, Even though I didn't wash my face from whatever I had on yesterday, but sunblock is not going to stay on you from whatever you had on you the night before. And I have no business being in the sun. That's why I had that shirt that you saw me. I had on at first to protect my arms. My mother told me, and maybe you could see. She said, well, she said that the chains made the green marks, and that's okay. Even though now, silver, one of the chains I thought was real silver, so I shouldn't do anything. I don't know. Anyway, she said there's a real red there. So I got some nasty sunburn there. And there's blistering there, and I don't know. Maybe some dirt and some hair dye. I don't know what you guys saw. But here. Does it look real badly sunburned? It's sometimes it feels warm, itchy, hot. I ignore it though, because I don't want to scratch open skin and get things infected, because my hands are not clean. When I'm breaking weed up to put in a pipe, let me see if there's anything else in here. Now, this is cash. Not credit card, not MasterCard, not American Express. This is empty. Uh, Let me see if there's anything else in here. Yeah. This is, oh, I learned the story of Little Smoky. This apparently was from a brand of liquor that they sold double shots in. This didn't have anything to do with smoking paraphernalia or stuff to put your smoke in. But this was given to me by somebody, and I just figured it was a really great weed jar. This weed, I'm telling you, it's like, it sucks. It's like drunk people think it's good, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. So you know what I'm gonna do? It's probably too late to take a shower. Oh man, I might do that though. I might take a fucking shower and then um go to that lunch thing. Bring home maybe some hot lunch for my mom. Cause I don't think there's any more chicken. You don't want to let that sit too many days in the fridge. And I don't think we want to eat any more sweet junk. Like I have chocolate chip cookies and whatever I could put in hard plastic. You got to protect things from the mice, etc. Okay, I will talk to you guys maybe later on today, or I wish I could stream from the boardwalk. That would be so much better. I wish I could actually make normal videos here in my computer, because you know what? Today's the 25th. On the 29th, my Google Premium membership expires. I'm going to need to download all of these live streams that I did before then. And I don't know if I'm going to cancel my membership in Yahoo uh, YouTube Premium, or if I'm going to keep it up, because I like the ability to download my videos. YouTube is proven it can't be trusted. Live streams, especially. You create them, you don't have a copy until you download them back. And I don't know how to access stuff that I create from this laptop and upload it to YouTube. When it gives me the option to upload, it wants me to do the Google Drive, or not the Google Drive pictures, the OneDrive pictures. I don't want to use any of those pictures. Those are all old pictures. And I know I can't automatically back up these pictures to my OneDrive, because I am at 99% of my Hotmail account, and we're only allowed 5 gigabytes of storage in OneDrive. So what's the good of having something that automatically uploads something that you have a cap limit of 5 measly gigabytes? That is fucking nothing. Just like a Google Drive, they give you a 15 gigabyte limit. Now, I want to ask you something. One of you who watch me, you tell me you have 3 Google accounts. So I'm assuming to get a new account, you have to give different names, right? Uh, So, but don't they make you have a cell phone that gets text messages in order to get this thing? That's the thing is, I tried getting a new Yahoo account. I tried to get an AOL account. It asked me for a valid cell phone number that got text messages just to set up the accounts. I don't have a cell phone. Cell phones require data plans. They require a bill every month. If I'm complaining about my storage bill that I have, my two storages in Hollywood that we are scrambling for how to pay every month. I know it's $100 for the 2 units. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's more than we can pay. And considering how much time I have to be out there, and I never know. I'm always out. I'm out here. I'm always in fear that this cop is going to run into me. Whenever I see a buggy, these cops run in, I'm always nervous, thinking, is this the day he's going to come up to me? Is he going to see the hat and figure out the reason why the hat's there is because I'm open to donations if a person wants to give me money? And is that alone going to be proof that I am playing guitar without a mercantile license? And I had a couple of people who are other sympathetic people ask me why I don't just get the license. And there are people who are legitimate business people who have gone through the corrupt thing in Atlantic City. Atlantic City has quite a history of we'll let you do these things, but you gotta pay the man. We'll let you, officer. Will you let us operate this massage parlor? We'll donate to you. Do you notice any of the legitimate massage parlors in town are covered with all these stickers about different police organizations? Every year they give donations. It's like giving hush money to a place so that the cops don't come in while somebody's giving somebody a you know what. Well, that sounds like a cat's off pushing a door open. Is that you, Mom? Hi, come in. Oh, okay. Well, the bathroom's that way. The toilet's not here, but you're welcome to use the bathroom. That was my maternal unit. No, I don't have a toilet here. Even though, when I first brought Cassie in, I indeed set up a little litter box here. Oh, I'm so burnt out. I am so burnt out. But I think I'm going to go and grab a lunch today. I hope it's not some kind of PB&J sack lunch bullshit. I hope it's something good. I'm going to take some those containers with lids, you know, that can be put in the refrigerator or whatever. I always get uh, food for my mother and myself, and I could give her something good and see a bunch of friends in the meantime. But you know what? I want to touch up my makeup. This is the brush that I use to fix my eyebrows, but unfortunately it was on carpet. Anything that touches the carpet is not going to touch my face. So as soon as my mother gets out of the bathroom, I'm going to go in the bathroom and I'm going to get bar soap and I'm going to wash this real good. And when I wash this real good, I'm going to go and I'm going to use this. And you know what this is? This is a lipstick. This is a very dark purple lipstick. It's so purple, it almost looks black. And this is actually how I color up my eyebrows so they look like they match my hair. But, like I said, with a dirty, scummy brush, there's no way I'm going to touch something that's touched every germ in Atlantic City, anyway. Every germ that's been up my cat's ass or from my sinuses. It's been on this one. So, yeah. Oh, man. I know. I don't think you could even. I don't think steam cleaning these carpets would do any good because I don't think I could help the stains. But this carpeting is cheap, and they have rolls of the same pattern. Ugly carpeting that's designed. They just look grayer, and yeah, because it's got like beige and brown and gray. I guess is what carpet is. Some ugly ass stripy thing. So okay, thank you for watching. I hope I got to mention everything that I did. Oh, I never got to see Hourly It's supposed to be thunderstormy as of 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and 10 p.m. 10 and 11, it's raining. Uh, yeah, I want to see. Now it says 50% chance of rain. I want to find out how rainy it's supposed to be. I mean, it's not going to be a washout. What time I should go out? Because there's going to be entertainment at the stage, so I have to be on the side of it. You know, I just like to find out when the rain's supposed to start. And if it's going to be really, really, really cloudy, then maybe I'd go a little bit earlier and not have to worry about the sun. Because I like to be where I could catch shady spots and yet not attract police attention. You know. And still, if there's going to be a nice amount of people, since today mostly cloudy, 20% chance of rain. Okay. 3 p.m., 79. Okay. No more than 15% chance of rain after 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., cloudier. Uh, then maybe not until 8 p.m. Yeah, they don't show any precipitation until 8 p.m. And 8 p.m. they show thunderstorms. So what I should do is, I guess I should maybe shoot for 5. Probably get out there by 6. The laughter in the background is my mother because she knows me. And the thing is, invariably, I'll be thinking about, I better DVR David Muir because she got me hooked on him, you know. Because, yeah, she gets me hooked on all this good TV stuff. Did you ever watch the debates, Mom?
Oh yeah.
What did you think? Tell everybody. No, really, what did you think?
My opinion, I didn't think that.
No. So, what about Chris Christie? Is he an asshole or what?
Thank you for that.
Well, you have a choice. Well, plus I'm going to get us lunch.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, she's pissed off at me. Okay, well, I'm still live streaming. Okay, I reheated her some coffee. Okay, and oh, my feet are still hurting. By the way, I know I'm not going to get any sympathy from her. All right. I'm going to heat or something. So I'm going to turn this off, okay? Because otherwise, because she's pissed off. They say happy wife, happy life. Well, when you're taking care of an aging parent, man, it's almost like being a housewife, except you're not getting the shove. You know what I mean? You're just getting the aggravation. You're getting the housework and drudgery. And yeah, go me. Let's just have a shout out to all the caregivers. I will talk to you guys soon. And yeah, I'll try to check out that club. Oh, and I'm back on Facebook, so find me there and find me on MySpace and all that stuff. I'll talk maybe before I go out to play. Bye.